Let's get into News Leak with Johannes. Good to talk to you again, Johannes. I hear you're heading off to Queensland in a little while. The borders are open, but your colleague Mark Knight at the Herald Sun has pointed out that Anastasia Palaszczuk is going to have a hard time running the Olympics if she doesn't learn to open her borders.
Yeah, it's lovely, and you know, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. Mind you, she does have a bit of a record when it comes to making special allowances for film stars and sports people, doesn't she?
Yeah,
so I
exactly.
reckon she just might open the doors for this bloke.
She's got a bit of time, though, 2032. I think she might get it done. Let's stick with Mark for a moment, and he's done a lovely cartoon based on that picture opportunity with the Prime Minister, and the PM's got V for vaccine, and the lady who was getting the vaccine and had the fingers the other way around says, "This is for the anti-vaxxers." Well done, a nice, serious message.
Yeah, turned what was apparently an awkward moment into an excellent moment there. A terrific one by Mark there. I love it.
Now, one of my favourite moments during the week is when I'm doing my Kenny report at 5 o'clock and you email me or text me your cartoon for the next day if it's done in time. But this one from this morning, unfortunately, came too late last night. I just love it because we were talking about the language, how we're talking about non-gestational parents and chest feeding rather than breastfeeding. And you've got these hairy-chested blokes lining up and there's a woman breastfeeding and they say there's always someone who has to bend the rules to suit themselves.
Well, I mean, if we're not sort of dealing with a sort of through the looking glass moment at the moment, I really don't know when we would be. It's all very strange, and sometimes you do scratch your head trying to work out how to make an absurd situation funny in a cartoon. But you know, with the language, these new language dictates and some of the bizarre situations that we're confronted with, I mean, it's just irresistible material for cartoons.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's just a classic. But as you say, it's just so absurd. If you draw reality, and that's the joke at the moment with the Victorian government supporting that stuff. Let's stay with another one of your cartoons, and also in Victoria. And you've got the Anzacs there saying, what about their right to march on Anzac Day? And here's Chairman Dan panicked and locked down and hiding under the doona. Which part of sacrifice don't you lot understand? That is just so pointed and spot on, Johannes.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, well, it's been the order of the last year or so is do your duty and hide under the bed. So, you know, it shows how far we've come in a few generations.
Oh, it is so tragic and so true. Now, someone we don't often praise on this program, you've picked out a cartoon from Michael Lunig in the Nine newspapers, and he's just picked up a lovely little twist on words here, saying, during the war, we gave up lives to protect freedom. During the pandemic, we gave up freedom to protect lives. So can you understand humanity? He gave up on humanity. Is Lunig turning into a sort of liberal-minded or a conservative person these days?
Well, you do sense a certain shift, don't you? I mean, this ties in very much to a speech I think that Tony Abbott gave recently, and there was a grab from that where he made a similar point, saying, you know, there was a few generations ago, young men gave their lives to protect freedom, and our generation seems to want to do the opposite, you know, protect lives by sacrificing our freedom. So, you know, if that's not a sign that he's shifting a little bit, I don't know what is. That's
a great way to hit back at him, mate, just to line him up to Tony Abbott. He'll hate that. He'll hate that alignment, but it's so true. Thanks for joining us, Johannes. Appreciate it.
Cheers, mate.